What's poppin', 5x5 judges?
Hello.
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 I like
Good evening.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How's it going, Kimberly?
Doing well. Staying busy, keeping out of trouble.
It's not easy.
Trying to, at least. No, it's not.
So I should welcome everyone to 5x5 Night who's watching. I just picked up the infamous 5x5 check from my cabinet. So it's going to somebody. Somebody's winning $5,000 tonight. If you've never seen 5x5 before, there are 5 ideas that were selected. Each one has 5 minutes and 5 slides to present to 5 judges. You're looking at the 5 judges right now. And at the end of the night, somebody gets a $5,000 check. And yeah, it's Start Garden's way of ensuring that ideas can live and thrive and get off the ground here in our lovely West Michigan community. And also that, that the wonderfully crazy people have a place to go to try to get those ideas off the ground, not just regularly crazy. So let's, judges, you want to introduce yourselves real quick?
All right, I'll go first. I'm Lori Sapinski with Start Garden.
Daryl Ross with Start Garden.
Jorge Gonzalez with Start Garden.
Kimberly Psyche with Lux Artists and Preserves.
And I'm Paul Moore, also with Start Garden. And Kimberly she's won a few things in the past, and she's made some progress with her preserve. So entrepreneur now turned maybe the most critical judge on the panel.
Oh, no.
Celebrity judge.
Celebrity judge. Yeah, Kimberly, do you want to tell us a bit about what's going on with your company?
Sure. So for those who don't know me, I own Lux Artists and Preserves. I make jams and marmalades infused with herbs and alcohol. Just ramping up and scaling, entering new retail spaces. I have an online store that has that has customers, in 24 states in the District of Columbia. And I'm also being carried at Capital City Market in Lansing, Michigan, and GR Noir on their cheese board in Southeast Market. And then I'll be going into Bridge Street Market pretty soon too. So, and some other retail spaces coming up locally. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Go to GR Noir. Another shameless plug.
Yes.
Or another Start Garden
Beautiful
company.
wine bottles.
Yeah, we should all have a bottle during 5x5 Night of GR Noir's lovely wines that you can buy by the bottle. Because I think we have a subscription to receive wine bottles every month. I know because I
think we have a couple. I think somebody else may have snuck in a subscription, but not gonna say no names, Paul. But yeah, before we get started, it's important. I mean, one thing about Start Garden is we do believe in putting resources directly in the entrepreneur's hands, and when we say resources, we mean dollars. So 5x5 again is just one of the things we do to directly assist entrepreneurs on their journey on the startup path and beyond. So yeah, I'm excited to see tonight's contestants. Critical and seeing if they're going to make some money with their model. Jorge, what are you looking for?
Same thing. I'm echoing what you're saying. Actually, I was thinking more of like the other sponsors that we normally mention during our, live features. Because I have a New Holland Brewing beer here, so kudos to our sponsors also.
Product placement.
Yeah,
Lori.
Yeah, I think same as you, Daryl. I think at the end of the day, it's really interesting to hear all the ideas, but we want to start businesses, so we want to see if everybody's thought through what their business model is and how does this actually make money, so that it's actually a business and not a hobby.
Right. And we know Kim is out here doing it and demonstrating how to be a successful entrepreneur. So we have her critical eye. So P. Moore, what are you looking for tonight?
I always like the unlikely. Not the unlikely as in there's no chance, but the unlikely is, wow, I've never heard that before. Maybe there's something there. Yeah.
Unlikely.
Yeah.
And Kim, what's the one thing all entrepreneurs better have tonight?
I would say knowing how they want to scale, knowing their numbers, knowing what the gaps are. I think as entrepreneurs, even I'm speaking for myself, I know the things that I really do really, really well, but usually where we need help, especially in the financial space, is the space where we don't know. So I'm hoping to hear all the entrepreneurs talk about that tonight. Like, how are they going to specifically use the money to scale and grow in the economy? So,
told you, most critical judge on the panel. I like it.
So welcome to 5 by 5. Let's do it.
Yeah. And speaking of, before we launch into presentations, Lori, are there any sponsors that we need to thank here? Since, I mean, technically, this is money we get from other places to give to entrepreneurs.
Yeah, I think we mentioned everybody. I think, yeah, we're good.
All right. Well, let's do it then. Here we go. This is the order of the evening. Resilient Roots, Bungee Fitness, Goo Genius Draw Club Online, Big and Tasties, and Wheels on Rails. I think there actually is a theme this month, and that this is on an entirely small business month. Sometimes it's a mix. Sometimes it's heavily into tech. This is definitely going to be the small business month. So we'll see how we do as far as comparing apples to apples. Should we get started with Kayla Morgan from Resilient Roots?
Hello.
Hey, Kayla.
Hello.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
So I'm Kayla Morgan. I'm the owner of Resilient Roots, where I provide trauma-informed yoga. You can find Resilient Roots on Facebook and Instagram at resilient.roots.wellness or at my website at www.resilientrootsgr.com. So next slide, please. So for the last couple years, I've been providing trauma-informed yoga primarily to BIPOC community, incarcerated youth, and LGBTQ plus youth community. And my current clients are the 17th District Court. I've done yoga for Sisters Who Lead Conference. I've done yoga nationally through all network conferences, through the Child Traumatic Stress Network, and for the YWCA. What's different about trauma-informed yoga for people of color is that there is a theory that trauma lives in the body for generations, and to address that trauma, we do positive I am affirmations to take away any negative self-talk that might be in the loop in the brain from generational trauma and then everyday trauma of living as a person of color after Trumpism and seeing our loved ones and people who look like us brutally murdered on social media. That's actually traumatizing for us. Next slide, please. So why is this important to have in Grand Rapids, and why is trauma-informed yoga so important for people of color? Grand Rapids has this social standard that if you don't fit into this beer drinking, Christian Reformed, Dutch culture, married young, you don't fit in this box and you're considered an other. So others would include LGBT, not married with children, have a criminal record, history of mental illness in your family. And whenever you feel like an other, that can create stress in the body, and too much stress in the body can lead to not being able to self-regulate the body. So, and that can lead to survival mode, and living in survival mode, you can't think properly, you're not showing up as your best self, you're not you're not practicing wellness so that you can stop this generational curse and show up as your best self in the workplace. Next slide, please. So I'm Kayla Morgan. I am a 200-hour trained yoga teacher. So that means that I put in the time to learn what it means to be trauma informed. That doesn't mean that I'm looking to hear what people's stories are or their traumatic experience. It just means that I approach everyone that comes into my class as if they have experienced trauma. I do that one-on-one in private classes. I do it in family classes, and I do that with trap yoga and yoga for just us. Resilient Roots really started as a movement to change the narrative of what wellness is and who practices it. I really wanted to show that that people of color do practice yoga, and we are mindful, even though if you Google yoga, you won't see people of color actually practicing it because it's been colonized like much things in Western society. Next slide, please. So the future for Resilient Roots Yoga is to bring on a co-instructor to help me expand. So reaching out to even more youth. Right now we have a program with the Kent County Juvenile Justice Program, and right now I'm only on the girls locked side unit providing trauma-informed yoga for the girls that are going to be going back into the community, and I'd really like to expand over to the boys side and help those young men that are at high rates of recidivism and trauma after being incarcerated. So this is Rodney Riley, and he'll be my first instructor. He's currently being trained at Funky Buddha Hot House, which has been a fabulous connection. They provided a full ride scholarship so that we can partner together and continue to move our mission of changing the narrative of wellness and who practices it. We'll also be purchasing tools to help our customers get a full experience of trauma-informed, so using props, bolsters, blocks, blankets, and virtual equipment so that we can do yoga on demand and start a membership process. And that's where we would create revenue to expand to a studio space and bring even more instructors of color on to push our mission forward. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you, Kayla. Does anybody want to jump in, or am I jumping in per usual?
You can go first.
Yeah. So I think probably to Kimberly's interest, $5,000 into Resilient Roots Yoga today leads to what tomorrow? I mean, I know the stuff that you said, but is it like more clients, more a larger population to serve, and how does it get you into like another level?
Yeah, so more clients and hiring more instructors, we would have more clients. So there's different aspects of Resilient Roots. There's the corporate aspect where we have partnership with Southeast Markets Freedom School, and we provide yoga programming for the youth there. And then there's also I'd like to send instructors into the YWCA to do trauma-informed yoga for people who've experienced domestic violence or interpersonal violence. And before COVID, I did have contracts with these organizations where they did pay $1,200 for 6-week sessions for their client.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then also expanding to a virtual platform, or when we do get a bigger place, we can do the membership and people pay a membership fee, and then they can experience all the different kinds of wellness practices in their membership fee.
So Kayla, right now, do you have any kind of online platform, or all of your classes are like in person?
So right now I have a office space that I share with an EMDR therapist, and that's where I'm doing the one-on-one private trauma-informed sessions and the family sessions, but also I'm comfortable going into people's homes at this time to provide my yoga that way also.
So how many classes are you doing a week?
So right now I have about 3 classes a week, or I've been doing cohort style, and that's where the Yoga for Just Us comes in, where I send out, I'm going to be doing yoga for these 6 weeks at one day, and I ask that people come in at the same time and they stay at the same time for us to build community and work through things together, small group. And last time I did that, I had 6 people purchased.
What
Any
do
other
you,
questions?
what do you charge per class?
So right now I'm charging $25 for an hour of private individual, $40 for an hour of family yoga, and I'm still on pause with the corporate yoga because of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
But then community classes outside can range from like $8 to $12 per person, depending on the event.
Mm-hmm.
Kayla, love the cause, and as somebody who tries, I guess, to attempt to do yoga, and as somebody who believes that people should take mental health more serious. On the business side, I just have a quick question. So if you're awarded the $5,000 tonight with your new hire or with that spend, how long do you think it'll take you to recoup or make money off of that?
How long do I think it would take me to make money off the 5,000?
Yes.
I think I could double it over the summer.
Well, I'm a big fan, by the way, of trauma-informed yoga and just anything as far as working out trauma through the body, which is where most of that memory is held. And I've never seen someone reaching into populations like kids in troubled situations like you are. So regardless of what happens tonight, I'm a fan of what you're doing, and I wish you really well before you leave. Yeah. So anyway, if we had a large crowd, we would say, please thank Kayla for taking the stage. And now the world is clapping vigorously. You can probably hear it outside your window.
Thank you, Kayla.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, up next. Let's see. I think we got Christina Van Dam from Bungee Fitness. This is a returning entrepreneur. Hey, Christina.
Hi, Christina.
Oh.
You.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Awesome. So thank you guys so much for having me. Go ahead and go to the next slide. Okay. Hi, so my name is Christina Van Dam, and I own Zeal Aerial Fitness. Zeal opened its doors in September 2018, and then in the fall of 2019, we hosted a bungee workshop and a teacher training in hopes of bringing permanent bungee classes to Grand Rapids in 2020. The workshops were very well attended, and many of our individuals in the workshops were looking forward to weekly classes, and our goal was to launch the bungee class in spring of 2020 with funds that we had slowly been saving. However, the pandemic had a different idea for us. Our funds went to survival when we were forced to be closed due to COVID-19. However, with restrictions slowly being lifted, we are confident that there is a desire and a need for bungee fitness in Grand Rapids. Next slide. So what is bungee fitness? Bungee fitness is a whole body workout that involves cardio and strength training, all while being low impact. It is low impact because individuals are held up by a harness and a bungee, allowing the bungee to hold some of their weight. It helps to build muscle and burn fat, all while being really easy on your joints. Bungee helps to build your core with resistance and also improves your balance, your flexibility, and your mobility. Individuals can burn up to 500 calories depending on the type of workout that they're doing. Bungee is extremely versatile, and it can be either similar to a HIIT class or a yoga class. So depending on the versatility, it's a really great workout for all individuals and all ability levels. Next slide. So why Zeal, you might ask? We are leading the way and setting the standard for safe and quality bungee in West Michigan. Our teachers, like I said, were certified by Grounded Aerial, and we intend to host another training to refresh their skills before we launch our classes. We've created a custom curriculum with engaging moves for all to have a full body workout. At Zeal, we have already cultivated a welcoming community for people, and we hope to continue to do so with bungee. We take safety very seriously, and we know that bungee has risks involved, and our rigging has been inspected and rated to sustain up to 3,000 pounds of force. We will also teach our participants how to use their equipment properly in an intro class. As you can see by the slide, there's already a large number of individuals searching for bungee in Grand Rapids, and our entire staff is absolutely thrilled to bring it to them. Since our original workshop, Zeal continues to receive inquiries on a weekly basis, and we've also received phone calls from other studios on the east side of the state looking to implement bungee classes. Based upon our inquiries, I feel confident that we will reach a different demographic of client because this demographic will include individuals who have physical limitations such as medical conditions, different abilities, and/or age. The low impact workout really reduces the stress on your joints, making this a great workout for somebody who could have arthritis, for example, or someone recovering from a knee or back injury. The additional support of the bungee and the harness allows for many different types of individuals to enjoy an alternative form of fitness in a safe and healthy way for them. Next slide. So how will we use the money? Our current business model, we have a 6-month and 1-year membership, and we will include the bungee in those classes for those members. So we will offer specific member bungee classes as we anticipate this to be a hot class in high demand. We will also then have classes for non-members. All individuals will be required to take an intro to bungee class where they will learn about their harness, how to clip in and out of their bungee, and the color of the bungee that will equal their weight. As you can see on the graph, we currently bring in about $4,400 per month with our monthly memberships and punch passes. And with the addition of bungee, we anticipate making $6,963 per month, and that's an increase of $2,500 per month. These numbers don't include our drop-ins or parties, and bungee will be available for parties if people want to help increase our revenue. Due to the fact that individuals need to each have their own harness and bungee, we will be able to accommodate 8 participants per class. All of our gear will be sanitized after use, and harnesses and bungees will have to have a minimum of 24-hour rest between use to comply with current COVID restrictions. These numbers reflect that, and we anticipate doubling that number as soon as we're able to have more classes when restrictions are lifted. Zeal is off to a really great start this year, and we truly believe that the introduction to bungee will help to bring our facility to the next level. Next slide. So with the $5,000, we'll purchase our bungee from Adrenal Dreams. It's a Pennsylvania company. Their gear is live load safety rated and has a built-in safety line to protect participants from falling if the bungee happens to fail. Our goal is to purchase 15 bungees in a variety of weight increments for our participants. The bungees come in 25-pound increments, so the participants have the proper amount of resistance for their body. We need to be able to have enough bungees for the variety of weights of our participants in a class. We will purchase our rock climbing harnesses from a local company called Higher Grounds, and we'll have a variety of harnesses for comfort because every harness has different padding in different places. And in our training, we learned that having different options for your customers, it makes them more likely to come back. We will also work with Higher Grounds to purchase our hard gear, such as the carabiners to help participants clip in and out, and the additional daisy chains to help for varying heights of our participants. We can't wait to fly and laugh with Grand Rapidians and to help them find their inner mission impossible. Thank you so much.
Did you take those photos?
No.
Yeah, so some of them are the ones from the studio, and then some of them are actually from the person who trained us.
Wow. It looks insanely fun just from those photos.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest with you, like aerial fitness always looked like I would suffer.
This one is it's a good introduction to it because the harness makes people feel that safety aspect.
Yeah. Well, and it looks like they're hopping around.
Yeah.
So, yeah, your marketing budget was $100, which is not huge amount, not a massive marketing budget there. What are you guys doing right now when it comes to social? How are you handling that?
So right now, I have an intern doing everything, so it's not costing me anything right now. And then also, I helped run the back end to it for like scheduling our content and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So we are on like Facebook, Instagram, and then she started a TikTok account because I don't really know what TikTok is, making me old.
I hear it's wonderful. And do you have a sense of where you're at as far as followers and things like that? Like how's it gone for just Zeal by itself?
Yeah, so we have about 1,300 followers on Instagram and about 1,500 on Facebook. And we know that it reflects our demographic of customers because right now our customers are coming from a really wide variety of places.
Yeah.
So, Christina, you said you have to rest the bungees between use.
Mm-hmm.
How many classes could you actually do in a week?
So right now, because of COVID, because the harnesses are a material that could be absorbent, we have to give them 24 hours before we can use them again. Okay. So we would be able to do 1 class per night. So once COVID restrictions are lifted a little bit, we anticipating adding more classes, but the numbers that I gave you was reflecting our current COVID restrictions.
Okay, I didn't get that. I didn't understand. I thought it was a safety thing. I didn't realize it was a health or
Yep.
Whatever. Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
And the resting is just a COVID mitigation, or is that in normal times just somebody sweat on it and it needs to like dry?
From COVID.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Anyone else?
I have a question. Actually, it's a follow-up question to Lori. So it sounds like the class can include 8 individuals. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. How much are you charging, or how much are you making per class if you're doing 1 per night?
So we have a membership option. And so, people can also do punch passes as well. So we're going to include it in our 6-month and 1-year membership. So the 6-month is $125 a month. And then the 1-year membership is $99 a month. And then the drop-ins equal about $20 to $25 per participant per the class. But then people can also drop in. But with Bungee, we want to make sure that we're getting our feet on the ground first before we do our drop-ins available open for that. And everyone will have to take that intro class as well.
Okay. And then is the intro class is part of the membership cost as well? Like it's covered in that? Okay. Yeah. So if you're in a dream world and we weren't in COVID, how many classes would you be wanting to do?
I would love
per week?
I would love to be able to do at minimum 3 nights or 3 classes a night.
Okay.
And we would be able to run that at the same time as our other classes too, because of how our space is set up. That spot is rigged differently than the other places.
Okay.
So if you're saying 8 people per class, and if you in an ideal world would be 3 classes, that means you would need to buy more bungees, right? Because right now your budget is for 15.
Nope. So the bungee, they would be able to reuse those bungees. So we'd have 8 people, and then the next class would come in the next hour, and they could use that same set.
Not at the same time. Okay, I get it.
Right. Yep.
Okay.
No, Jorge, I think you were asking if there's like a harness in which you and I can both be in it together with one bungee cord.
One of my questions was gonna be that is there like a weight limit, because I was worried. I was thinking like, man, I don't want to end up on the floor.
Yeah. So
So you bounce.
Yep. The Adrenal Dreams has a bungee that goes up to 300 pounds. And then there's also ways that you can combine if an individual weighs more than that.
I barely made the mark, Paul.
All right. Any questions before we let Christina go? Christina, your earring has been sort of like jingling against your microphone. So it sounds like you have gold coins just falling around.
Coming down. It's raining on me.
You sound rich.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much. I really appreciate you and appreciate your time.
Yeah, good to see you, Christina.
Thank you.
All right, who's next? It's Wade Gugino with the Goo Genius Draw Club. Bring him. Murphy, by the way, in the background, is running the show. So thank you, Murphy.
And Belinda.
On Wade.
It's great to be here. Everybody can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Welcome, Wade.
Just take off. All right. Hello, my name is Wade Gugino. I'm co-owner of a cartooning company in Holland, Michigan called Goo Genius. We cartoon everything for everyone. We also teach drawing. For the last 8 years, we've offered a weekly draw club for kids ages 7 to 16. I'm pitching today to expand our online draw club. Next slide. Oh, sorry, can I get one more slide? Sorry. Draw Club has been very successful in person. Before March 2020, we had 80 weekly attendees in just Grand Rapids and Holland, with requests to start draw clubs in multiple other communities. We can't physically be everywhere to teach drawing, but those requests started us thinking about how we could franchise or license our content. And then COVID hit and shut us down completely. We decided to pivot and offer an online classroom option. The online aspect has taken some learning, but Draw Club works very well this way. And with today's technology, it's easily scalable. We realized that we actually can be everywhere at once. Next slide. Drawing is often a thing kids do on their own without much direction, connection, or encouragement. They have art classes at school and local and online art options, but the drawing part is usually short-lived, and often there's just a static video or personal connection online. And private tutors, not many people can afford that. So the truth is, there's a learning community for kids for just about everything, from sports to theater to video games, but there's no ongoing community for drawing. There are some large organizations starting to do what we're proposing here, but they're more expensive and they use other drawing instructors, so there's no continuity, and their offerings are lost in a sea of other options. Draw Club is different. We love our kids and we're about the community. That's what kids and parents tell us they want. We focus on kids who love to draw, who are excited to learn real skills, and we help them encourage each other along the way. Draw Club is a weekly 2-hour extravaganza that's 3 parts classroom and 2 parts variety show, where kids receive step-by-step, standards-based lessons that focus on individual learning objectives, allowing them to improve week after week, year after year. We do drawing better than anyone else. Parents love that their kids have an outlet for their drawing, that the price is low at $10 per session, and that the sessions are a la carte, that the lessons meet state education requirements, and that all they have to do is print out a PDF for their child and make sure they have a pencil and an eraser and an internet connection. Our first marketing focus will be on the homeschool market. They need quality art classes, and they have traditionally loved Draw Club. With just 20 attendees per state throughout the school year, our yearly revenue would hit $400,000 for classes alone at an over 80% profit margin online. This may seem optimistic, but before COVID hit, Draw Club was on track to make $27,000 per year in just 2 cities. Next slide, please. Anybody can pull numbers out of the sky for a pitch, but can we really make it happen? Yes, we can, because we have been. We know the business and it's time to grow. Kids want it, parents want it, and we want to give it to them. I do the art, and my co-owner, Eva Marie Gugino, runs the mainstay of the administrative tasks and in-session logistics. Together, we're a creative team that has a passion for art, for kids, and for bringing the two together. We've developed and honed nearly 60 Draw Club lessons, and we also have 5 different drawing and cartoon summer camps. All the pieces of the puzzle are in place. We just need a bit of capital to adapt to what we have online and make people aware of it. Next slide, please. We are currently building our online registration portal, augmenting security, and filming our first 10 intro videos. We're asking you for $5,000 to do 2 specific things. We need to reach out to the homeschool market nationwide and let them know what we're offering, and we need to film 10 more intro videos for our sessions. We'll use $2,500 to market to homeschoolers because they have a need for our class, and parents are willing to pay to meet that educational need. Once we're firmly established in that market, we'll grow out from there. The entire $2,500 will be spent on ads to the homeschool market, reaching 350,000 potential people with direct links to our registration portal. The other $2,500 will be used to create fun 5-minute intro videos for 10 sessions. These videos get kids engaged with our class immediately. The videos will mirror the day's lesson, but entertain in a loosely related way. Interviews, field trips, animations, experiments, and much more will get them focused in understanding the day's drawing concept and ready to start moving those pencils. These videos will be one more aspect of Draw Club that sets us apart from our competition and makes us the go-to online destination for drawing. We have the skills, the hardware, and the system to make this happen. We just need a little capital to make Draw Club Online a reality for kids everywhere. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Wade.
Absolutely.
Good to see you. Does anybody want to jump in with questions before I start?
That's fine.
Yeah, so just to recover, I think maybe some ground that you already tread. I may have just missed it as far as you were saying that there's an 80% profit margin now that you're online. What was that coming from? Is it some sort of sales or membership registrations, or how does that work?
The kids pay $10 a week to come to Draw Club, whether it's online or whether it's in person. And online, there's fewer like overhead sorts of things that I have to deal with. But right now, with some of the restrictions lifted, I have a hybrid class where I have kids in the classroom right now and kids online that I teach both at the same time. And all of them see it through a camera here that then projects onto a screen behind me or onto the computer so that they follow along with the step-by-step drawings. And so they're paying $10 per week, and I'm having to pay for Zoom and a few security things and so on. But as we get bigger, that margin becomes lower and lower of a percentage overall in the next individual sale.
Got it. Yeah, and just out of curiosity, I mean, how much is it important to have that kind of Zoom interaction versus if you were like live streaming to YouTube and you weren't in a classroom, virtual classroom kind of environment?
So far, we have found like there are lots of opportunities online. There are lots of people that stream different kinds or even offer like online courses that are static where you can play a video and then move on to the next video. We have found that the interactive community part matters to the kids, for them to be able to show stuff to you, for you to be able to talk to them. Down the road, if we ended up getting to say 1,000 kids or more, it would end up that we couldn't talk to every single one of them all throughout the session, or it wouldn't work out very well. So in that instance, we may record part of the lesson, but it would still be live in the sense that I'd be there to answer questions or to work with kids individually. I work with them over the computer right now and help them to understand what it is that they're doing wrong for proportion or for a particular type of character. And that would just carry over into larger classes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I had that question too, because you mentioned that part of this money would go towards recording videos.
Yes.
And so the videos are part that you would use within the interactive session.
Yes. There is a different dynamic online. Okay. It's not exactly the same as being in person. In person, I can like, make faces and go, encourage the kid, draw on their paper and that sort of thing. What I find is that over time, we'll have to augment things online a little bit. And one of those ways of doing it, and to get them going and focused and being there on time online, is to offer a 5-minute video at the beginning. And I'm thinking of things like interviewing cartoonists, the possibility of like, we have a proportion exercise that we do where we take a small character and blow it up larger. We call it blow it up. And for that 5-minute video, we might be blowing different things up, like watermelons and other things like that. It doesn't really relate exactly to what we're doing, but it gives it kind of a Bill Nye the Science Guy feel at the beginning. The kids get involved, they get into it. Then we talk a little bit about the actual drawing instruction thing that we're working on that day, whether it's, like we said, proportion, or it could be any of a million different things. And then they're able to know sort of how we're moving forward, and it gives people time to be there on time and just start to draw.
Wade, love what you're doing with art, and especially with the kids. How long have you said you've been in existence or doing this?
This is going on 8 years. I said 8 years, but it's just coming up on 8 years here shortly. I've been doing this for a long time. It honestly started as doing some lessons for friends. I had 2 friends that wanted me to do drawing lessons for their kids, and I didn't want to do it. And so I put them at Fridays from 4 to 6, and it started to grow bigger. And soon we had like 16 kids, and then 18. And eventually we moved into Grand Rapids a little bit. And we've had, like I said, before COVID hit, 80 kids per week in 4 different sessions on 2 afternoons. So 2 sessions in Grand Rapids in the afternoons and 2 sessions in Holland for a total of.
So I guess my question then is, in 8 years, if you rolled out to 2 cities, what is the strategy and likability of really being in 2 cities in all 50 states in 1 year?
Well, I can't go there directly. That's why we're looking at doing it online. But the homeschool market has been a great market for us to approach. We actually talk to the partnerships, and the partnerships have an accredited teacher that then uses our class as a way to do projects and get kids out into the community doing art. And I'm one of the few people that does drawing directly. So offering that in other communities online is going to be something that those kids are interested in and those collectives are interested in. It's as easy as sending in a background check and working with them with their standards that they need met, but all of our lessons meet different standards. And then I can work with the kids so that they know a project that they need to meet in order to talk to their local homeschool network. And we can actually meet that need for kids. So I think it'll actually grow quite quickly once the word is out there.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question, Wade. Just for clarification, you said that prior to COVID, you had 80 attendees.
Yep.
I'm assuming here in Grand Rapids and in Holland.
Yep.
But then where I kind of got lost is where your new model, you're looking at 20 attendees across the nation. Did you mean to say 20 in each city, or did I miss that? Or
I said with just 20 attendees per state throughout the school year. So if I had 20 attendees coming to all 40 sessions per state, then we would end up having a revenue of $400,000.
Okay, I missed that. Sorry.
Right now we have 80 in 2 cities, so we're assuming that with the kinds of penetration that we get with different groups like homeschool groups, that we could find 20 kids per state. And I realize that it's not going to be 20 in Rhode Island and 20 in California, but it's kind of a way of making it
like an average. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Just as a matter of mentioning, organically, we haven't put anything out there for advertisement. We already have 1 kid in California, 1 kid in Illinois, and 1 kid in Texas that follow along with us weekly.
Cool.
How do you think they found you?
One of them was through a homeschool connection. The other one, I have no idea. I'm assuming somebody told them as well. And the last one is a family member of one of the kids that lives up here. So they were able to get a hold of it, but they follow along with us on a weekly basis.
All right. Anything before we let Wade go? Oh, Kimberly, you're muted.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. Just need to clarify something. So you said that you were going to use $2,500 for 10-minute intro videos, right? So are you actually teaching the classes live when you online, or what is that? I'm a little bit confused.
We have a 2-hour class every week. And so right now, one of the things about being online is that it's not the same dynamic as being in person. So we want to augment that with some extra little things here and there that kind of get their interest. And we feel that a 5-minute video at the beginning of the class that is kind of entertaining and moves toward the direction of the discipline that we're working on that day is going to really help us to get kids to be there on time, be entertained, and feel like this is a little bit different drawing class than what other people have to offer. And as we get bigger and have more time, we'll add little things like little animations. There are moments halfway through where we, have everybody go to the bathroom. It's not a real strict 2 hours. We end up doing about 45 minutes of step-by-step stuff, and then we take a break. And then the kids that are able to take what we learned and apply it to their own stuff do that. And other kids that have maybe lower skills or maybe not as much imagination to move on things, we have some exercises that they can continue working on in the second half. So we'd have to intersperse little short bits of interactivity that have been pre-recorded, but we think that can go over well in this format. Okay, so I would imagine that in that model, I used to homeschool my daughter for like 6 years, by the way. So awesome. This is kind of a cool concept. So in that model, though, that you have, I imagine that if you have a group of children that are at different places in how they're learning, how are you managing that? Do you have somebody that supports you, or how do you manage that whole cycle within that 2 hours that you're with them? Generally speaking, I'll try and make this quick, but of the lessons that we do, we kind of repeat the lessons each year, but we work on different aspects of how to get better at those. And the kids, I've had kids in the class for 5 and 6 years. So if we're working on comics, kids know how to make comics, but they get better at drawing comics. And so for the kids who are brand new, we offer them sheets that have like a little bit more of it laid out, whether it's the skeletons of the characters or some of the mannequins of the characters. And then they build on top of that in order to get the proportions right. Some of the kids don't want that. They just want to take off and do it on their own because they've either been through it or they're good drawers. And we like to respect that. So we have 2 or 3 different levels of sheets online that the kids can use differently. And I slow down, if somebody's having trouble, like we had one kid that was 6 years old trying to be part of the class, and he was a great drawer of Spider-Man, but he couldn't draw really anything else that quickly, and he was getting frustrated. So we end up slowing down and saying, okay, you catch up, everybody else wait for a moment, and I'll try and make some jokes while they're doing that. But in general, it flows along fairly smoothly. When the kids are paying attention, they get through it in the time that we have. Okay. What's the maximum number of kids that you can have at once in a class? In a class here in person, I've done up to 50 kids and it's worked out all
Okay.
right. I have usually like a helper that kind of goes around or helps kids go to the bathroom or things along that
Sure.
line. But they stay pretty focused on things. And I do that in schools as well. Online, honestly, I think that we could have quite large classes if we had some moderators that were able to work through chat and talk with folks, because in the end, they're going to follow me. That's going to be a little bit like a variety show with little interspersed videos or extra content. And then at the end, if they have an extra question, I would like to add another half an hour onto the class where kids can just talk with me or ask questions or do what they want. But we haven't really hashed that aspect of it out just yet.
Yeah. Seems like a lot you could do with breakout sessions. I mean,
Right.
by way of compliment, as someone who tried to homeschool my child during COVID, my third grader, and failed miserably, I wish I had this for 2 hours every single day during that time. She would have loved it way more than math.
The kids that love it really love it. Some kids come and they go home and they're like, this isn't for me. But like I said, we've got some kids who've been back here for 5 years and they just keep trying different things. And it's more about the community. It's not so much about the drawing lessons. They do get better at drawing, but truly the idea for some kids who are kind of introverted, who don't have any access to other people who like to draw and their parents don't know how to encourage them, this is the place that they come to and they love it.
All right. Well, thank you, Wade.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank
I appreciate
you.
it. All right. Thanks.
Interesting. I will try to speed this up. Murphy, let's just go right into it. Big and Tasties. I'm going to say Zeke Henderson.
Yeah.
So you're gonna speed up to 5 minutes?
I was just
Like, how did that work, Paul?
Tell me I'm gonna speed up my 5 minutes. All right.
Yeah, you get your 5 minutes, bro.
No, you get your 5
Cool, I
minutes.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. I just want to say thank you so much for having me on here and promote my business and get everything out here. I'm so excited to present to you guys Big and Tasty's breakfast delivery. Next slide, please. Oh, there we go. All right. So Big and Tasty's delivers the opportunity for first and third shift workers to get a nice, warm, hearty breakfast. So from 7 a.m. or from 7 to 11 a.m. Mondays and Fridays, my food truck will deliver a variety of breakfast items right to your place of business, with breakfast items such as steak and egg wraps, potato scrambles, layered egg sandwiches, pancakes, coffee, and much more. The goal for Big and Tasty would be to make my items big and tasty at the same time. Next slide, please. All right. A big impact. One of the main reasons why I'm starting up Big and Tasty's breakfast delivery route is for the impact that it could have on our essential workers. I think back to a time where I was waking up at like 3 o'clock in the morning, get ready for work, and not getting back till like 5 or 6 p.m. And most of those days, I would have to either skip breakfast or stop at some cheapy fast food restaurant or gas station to pick up some sort of unfulfilling breakfast or any snacks that I could find. And I feel like with what we could do with Big and Tasty's breakfast is be there for for my customers and give them the selection that they would need to get through their day. All right, next slide, please. Hold on 1 second. All right. Who am I and what is Big and Tasty? So one of the biggest reasons why, I'm sorry, I got my slides mixed up on my computer right here. Okay. All right. Bringing people together and enjoying good food is what I'm all about. Big and Tasty's is, wow. Sorry, I don't mean to choke like this.
Yeah, you just roll with it.
So
By the way, the photographs are really great, so I'm enjoying that part.
Awesome, thank you so much. I started this initiative last month, the beginning of February, to start up Big and Tasty, and what we're trying to do is, I'm so sorry. Wow.
No problem. Just take your time.
All right, cool. Let me just get this all fixed up right here. It's throwing me completely off.
Yeah. Now let's take a minute. Murphy, will you give Zeke a minute to get cleaned up here?
She was not like I've been preparing for this entire past week.
It's all right. It's easy. It's easy to get thrown off, but you are not the first, and you are not the last.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right, let me get back to this slide. Why I believe I'd be the right person to make my idea into a reality is truthfully, I really enjoy making food for others and being able to do that. And one of the things that I like to take out of it is just more of like I'm sorry, I need to restart on that one. Second nature. Wow. Well, I believe I'm the right person for you to turn my idea into reality. It's just I enjoy making food. One of the things that I feel is like my second nature by bringing the opportunity and sharing with somebody. Whoa.
Yeah. You know,
I'm so sorry.
No, it's all right. So Zeke, anything that we don't get, we're going to ask in a question anyway. So I would just say, tell us what you think we need to know, and give it to us, and then we'll ask you whatever questions we don't get.
All right, cool. Well, at least I can just go off what my slides have right now. If you guys look at that picture of Big and Tasty, that book right there, that's something that I made in 3rd grade. It was about we had to write books for a class, and what we have there is wow. I did not expect to be this nervous.
It's all right.
Fine.
All right, next slide. I'm sorry.
You're doing great. Let's roll with it.
Okay, so if I were to win the $5,000 prize, $500 of that would immediately go towards my food service license application, and that'll help with receiving my or with all the help that I've received from Ryan at the Incubator Kitchen. I will be able to start my business up next month and be able to start production and see a revenue. $1,200 of the $1,200 will go towards marketing and the promotion of my business, distributing posters, menu stickers, and potential samples, COVID depending. Also reaching out to graphic designers and website designers to help push social media outlets to reach new and potential customers. $500 will go towards cooking necessities like pots, pans, utensils, cleaning, sanitizers, and stuff like that. And the remaining $2,800 will go towards the savings for the purchasing of my food truck, which is the truck that you guys see right there. And yeah, that's actually it. I'm so sorry for being nervous. It kind of just struck me out of nowhere. I didn't expect to do that.
So Zeke, that's the last time that you get to apologize.
Sure.
You're now done apologizing the rest of your life about your pitch.
Hey, I'll definitely answer the questions right now. I'm probably sweating a little bit too.
Yeah. So questions, anybody?
Yeah. How much does the food truck cost?
Okay, the food truck in that picture right there is actually $16,000. I have 8,000 saved up right now for it. So, and I have to drive out to Pennsylvania to get that truck, which I'll be able to do within the beginning or end of summer, depending on how this goes.
Okay.
Yeah. And so when you say a customer, is this workers individually buying meals, or does the company buy like a bulk thing and then you're delivering it and dropping it off at the workplace?
All right. So what I do with my business is I go from local businesses delivery from there to the next. So say I would pull up to where the place that you work at, you come out and check out what I have, and I would go to the next building.
Okay. So there's kind of just a time during the morning, and then employees can come out if they want it. So yeah, kind of like a food truck that's making deliveries.
Yes, that's how people eat when they got jobs where they take breaks and stuff, Paul.
Look, Daryl, we don't have to get into
shifts. So how does that?
We can't get through one event.
And Zach, what is your what kind of a background do you have in food? It sounds like you're working out of the Incubator Kitchen right now.
Yes, I would be working out of the Incubator Kitchen when this all gets set up, but I don't have much of a background in food. I have a love and creativity shift for doing it, and I've catered for a couple different parties and stuff. So it's a pretty new startup for me.
Okay.
So you said you have $8,000 saved. Break
for
down
the food
some of your
truck
sales for the food truck. So to date, how many meals are you selling? What kind of money are you making? What are you bringing in?
Okay, so when I work on a 2-day basis of weeks, so I'd be working Mondays and Fridays, and each of those days I plan on selling, or I have projected sales of 100 items, each raising around like $5 and less for like drinks and stuff, but I'll be able to sell 100 items per day per workday.
Cool. And what are you selling now, Zeke?
Right now, I sell breakfast wraps, or star burritos is what I like to call them. So they're all filled up. It has like potatoes, eggs, sausage, steak. We have veggie ones and anything that's going to fit our customers.
And how many of those are you moving a week?
Between of those are going to be like 100 to 150 of those breakfast wraps is what are going to be sold per week.
Okay.
How are you selling them now without the food truck?
Right. That was going to be my question.
Right now, how am I selling without the food truck? This
Yeah.
is just the startup. I've ran a couple experiments for like giving samples out to a couple businesses that I've worked at or the places that I've been able to visit in my community, COVID restrictions applying, and just seeing what my customers would like, breakfast items and details and what they would like to see out of the business.
What is the average price of one of these?
Okay, my breakfast wraps are going to be sold for $5, and then I'll have combos and deals for like sandwiches where you can get like 2 for $6 or like get a combo for drinks and sandwiches and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Zeke, I have a question. Who is your target customer? I know that you said that you were focusing on businesses, but have you thought about a particular sector? For example, I used to be a nurse, and I would have loved getting off at midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning and be able to call you to get something to eat, so I don't stop at the gas station and grab Doritos. So have you thought about the type of businesses that you want to target, or what that reach is going to look like?
Yes, within the areas that I'm going to be delivering in, which is going to be Division, Plainfield, Northern Drive, and Alpine, I plan on targeting businesses like grocery stores, car dealerships, mechanics, factories, and other local businesses like that.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. We good?
Cool. Thanks,
All right.
Zeke.
All right,
Thank you, Zeke.
Thank you, Zeke.
All right, last one. Who's up, Murphy? It's Wheels on Rails. Macy, Heffron. I'm curious about this.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to not only just present my idea, but more importantly, like to help my business with these funds. And yeah, I am presenting to you today my business that I'm currently set to open on June 17th called Wheels on Rails. My mission at Wheels on Rails is to allow tourists to ride on top of the railroad tracks in Tecumseh, Michigan as a guided tour on a 3-mile section of one of the very first rail lines in Michigan that is now abandoned. This is a fun and unique experience for everyone. Next slide, please. My name is Macy Heffron, and I'm a 20-year-old college student at Spring Arbor University. I've worked part-time for MDOT in the Office of Rail Department and have gained a huge passion for railroads from that. I also love biking and spending time with my family and friends in my free time. I started this process about 5 months ago and didn't know where it would go until I presented it to the railroad owners and got it approved to move forward. I was focused on studying for the LSAT to get into law school before I put that on pause to make this dream come true. Adding college, my job, and lack of knowledge of becoming an entrepreneur all made it even more evident that this was going to be a journey, but it was something I was willing to take on and make happen regardless of that uncertainty. I have overcome trial and errors, but I want to show young adults like me that anything is possible if you put your heart to it and have the confidence to do it. Most importantly, trusting in the Lord's timing and presence throughout the whole journey. Next slide, please. Wheels on Rails is bringing a brand new tourist destination to Michigan and all of the surrounding states. We will be operating on special manufactured 4-wheel bikes that ride directly on top of the railroad tracks itself, as you can see in the bottom right corner. We will have 28 seats available per tour, 4 tours a day, running Thursday through Sunday, and operating at a $35 riding rate for everyone. Our tours will be 3 miles long, 3 miles there and 3 miles back, equaling about an hour tour. There is no steering necessary. People will be able to just sit back and enjoy the beautiful valleys, the 40-foot trestle bridge they will be going over, and the railroad woodlands that people don't often get to see, as well as an added winery stop on the way. Only one person needs to pedal at a time in order for the bike to move down the track. This tourist destination is especially unique because it allows everyone to take part, including infants, elderly, and even people with disabilities. Next slide, please. If I won the $5,000, I would put it towards some of the startup costs listed below. The bikes weigh around 125 pounds, and in order to turn them around at the 3-mile marker, I will need to purchase a special turnaround mechanism that costs $2,500. You can see that mechanism that's pictured on the left. Insurance for my business is $5,000 a year, which includes property and liability. These funds will go towards my insurance costs for the first 4 months of operation. In order to get my bikes from from Colorado to Michigan, I will be paying a shipping cost of $3,000. Some of this money will also help cover that. I will be paying the railroad owners a low fixed cost of $50 every month, which is such a blessing that they're working with me on that. This money will help pay rent for the first 4 months of operation. I will also be putting $31 towards my website domain so I can begin early registration in the coming weeks. Lastly, safety is my top priority here at Wheels on Rails, so I will need to purchase 2 railroad flags for our flaggers to wave as the tour crosses each section of the road. The $5,000 reward will help in a way that is not only described in the line items, but also will allow me to finalize, wrap up, and complete any last-minute details needed prior to the June 17th grand opening. Next slide, please. I have great intentions to grow this business in the coming years. I have signed a 3-year contract with the people who own this particular railroad. We expect new customers as well as a loyal returning customer base as our media platform and word of mouth expands. I've had the Tecumseh Herald and MDOT Weekly News interview me, as well as a few classes at my college who are also working on additional advertising for me, which has been an added blessing. After our 3 years in Tecumseh, I would love the opportunity to expand to Grand Rapids and Traverse City areas. However, there are limited abandoned railroads in Michigan, and it is very challenging to get access, along with approval to use these tracks. But I believe once this location takes off, I'll be able to grow those into those bigger cities. This also allows for no competition, which gives me high hopes for this business succeeding. I've gotten amazing feedback this far from the surrounding communities and several media teasers, so this allows my focus to be fully ready for June 17th. Thank you again for your time and allowing me this opportunity. This journey has been so amazing, from starting out with a simple idea 5 months ago to putting my law school dreams on pause and going full force on something that I have a huge passion for. COVID-19 will not stop us from operating, as we will be outside in open air. I can't wait to see tourists this summer combining both biking and railroads into one package and enjoying the vision that has now become a reality. Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah. All right. This looks like fun. I like railroads. I like woods. I like wine.
Yeah.
I was wondering if there was some sort of like break from just the riding on the railroad, and a winery sounds like a good idea. So the big question was, I mean, I think for this kind of thing, like, it's super seasonal. So you're working 4 days a week.
Yeah. So
4
we will
months
be
a
open.
year. It's just not a lot of time to make the old, the rain throughout the year. So what is sort of the projections as far as, like, if you can have X amount of riders per week, X amount of weeks a year?
We will be open 4 days, just because I don't think people travel much Monday through Wednesday. So I think we'll get the most people on the weekends, and also that Thursday evening, like I want sunset tours actually. So that, I think that would be super cool. And we wanted to originally open in May, but there was a shortage in some of the material for the bike. So we're actually opening in June now, but for the next few years, we want to be open for a solid 6 months. That would be like May 17th through October 17th. Just for those fall tours, we want to be open for fall for sure, because we are going through the woods. And then honestly, once I grow this business, I want to make it more so that these bikes can be enclosed and have little heaters in them, so we can do it in the winter. I think that'd be super cool up in the Traverse City area, especially with that railroad being right by the bay. So as we grow.
So how much do you think you can make in 6 months, assuming that, they're not being ridden 100% of the time. There's going to be days when it rains. There's going to be times when people just don't show up.
Yeah, so our net income for 100% is 222,000, and then for 50%, it's 50,233, and that's after our first year with all of our assets. We have a lot of assets the first year with the bikes being so costly, but after the following years, once the bikes are paid for, it's around 172,000 at a 50% capacity.
That's a nice summer job. How many people have to work for you?
I actually only need 2 employees, which is a huge blessing. Just 2 tour guides, and then I'll also be working at the hut as well as ride tours with the people. So.
All right.
So obviously you said you have a partnership with the railroad. So who does like the railroad maintenance? What if like a tree falls down or you just said in the winter, if there's snow, like who takes care of those abandoned railroads?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I actually, with this deal, I wrote up a contract by myself and I sent it out to the railroad just this past week, and it actually got approved, which is super awesome. But they are going to be in charge of maintaining the railroad before my season starts. So they spray with weed killer, and then they said that I can keep a chainsaw with me just in case of branches and stuff, but everyone's around. So hopefully those men will help me cut the trees down. When I visited, they said they would. So that's a huge, huge thing for me for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you could definitely do your Halloween rides too if you have a chainsaw on the bike.
Yeah, I want to do like Christmas in July too. I know a lot of campgrounds do that, and just have Christmas lights along the railroad. I think that'd be sweet. So.
Yeah. Any other questions for Macy? Judges, before we break?
No, I think it's a lot of fun. It's so unique. I mean, it's like, who would have thought? I mean, and you obviously thought of this because of your internship?
I've been working for the state for 2 years now, just in the summers. And when COVID hit, I actually bought myself a bike, and I was like, I want to combine both of these. I have a huge passion for biking, and that's what I do on my free time. So I took my resources. I asked my boss this simple question when we were out on the rails on one of our jobs, and he's like, well, just go for it, Macy. And I'm like, I don't know where to start. Can you help me? And he has been a huge, huge help. So yeah, just started out there, and this is where we've come.
Interesting.
So.
All right. Well, this is going to be easy. Going into deliberations. Let's thank Macy for coming out. Thank you, Macy. Good luck with the railroad 2021. All right. So this is where we break, and we should be gone right around 15 minutes. We usually take about 15 minutes. We come to a conclusion. Somebody wins $5,000 when we come back. And we should probably plug before we break the next 5x5 night. Lori, do you know what date that is by any chance? Oh man, quiz the staff. When's the next 5x5 night? Murphy, put it in the chat. When is it? Oh, April 27th. Thank you, Murphy Ackerman. Again, thank you to Murphy, who you can't see but is running the show from the back. And we will see you next month, April 27th. Of course, don't leave. Take a little break. Watch some videos that we have for you. We'll be back in about 15 minutes to announce who won $5,000. And I'm not looking forward to the next 15 minutes. So we'll see you when we return. All right, we're back. I'm
Yeah, we are.
here by myself. Oh, COVID technology. So quiet. When this is over, it's like normally there would be clapping and it would take forever to get out of the space because there's just all these people and we're talking to them and now it's just like click, I'm alone again.
I know.
I am.
Well, at least Murphy looks like she put you in timeout down in the corner.
All right, so we're back. Quick reminder, the next 5x5 night is April 27. So don't miss that. Put it on your calendar. Hopefully it's going to be nicer and warmer, and we're just on a nice, lovely climb into spring right now. And I think we are going to give some feedback and to our 5 participants before we announce the winner. So I will go in the order in which they presented. We'll start with Kayla from Resilient Roots. Who is giving feedback to Kayla?
I am, Paul. I am giving feedback to Kayla. Kayla, great presentation. I think one of the things that we were discussing was, especially for me, and even as a testimonial, I've never done yoga, but especially during this year of pandemic, we have learned, how mental health is a big issue, and how the need for therapists and for exercise and yoga, especially in the minority community or people of color, because we're not used to it. We kind of deal with our own problems on our own. So I'm very grateful for what you're trying to do, and I think it's a great concept. It's a great idea. I think that the only feedback that I will say, and maybe as we continue to work with you, is that the fact that you were going to use the funds to hire a co-instructor, it sounds good, but then we're like, okay, how is that sustainable after the long run? And therefore, I think I want to follow up with you. Whatever happens tonight, if you win or you don't, I think Lori and I and Daryl and Paul, we decided that, kind of work with you as we, continue with your idea, because we think it's a great idea. I think the only feedback was that, just not to use the funds, to hire someone, and then what happens after that. So that's my feedback.
All right. Next up, by the way, thank you, Kayla. Next up, Christina, Bungee Fitness. Who has Christina?
It would be me. So Christina, similar to Kayla, regardless what happens tonight, would love to continue to work with you as your business expands. Your pitch tonight was spot on. Good job at explaining the business model, what you do with the money, etc. Couple areas of concern is the growth numbers. How did you get to the 20% growth? Was that based on, you've added equipment before, and that's kind of the increase you would see? And then, quite frankly, it seems like you need more than the $5,000 worth of equipment to really make the model work. But again, great pitch, great energy, and great job of explaining your business model. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Christina. I think we're with Wade. Hey, Wade. So Wade, I was the skeptical one, and then by the end of your pitch, I was kind of converted because I thought, like, all right, there's like live stream like I know I've been here. We've all been here. If you have a child and you've been living with that child for the last year, you've been there. But where it got really interesting was the idea not only that it's a combination of interactive and video, but then you threw out the word scalable, and that's where I would say was both the strongest and the weakest part was I can see it how it could scale. Mm-hmm. And I was kind of digging to see, like, does Wade sort of see a path? Because once you're serving 1,000 students a week, that's a very different experience from serving 20. at a time. But I do think that with the technology, with breakout rooms, with facilitators, with some of the video content you're doing, like it could be a really interesting combination of how you would scale into something that's, you know, larger than my kids' middle school, you know, as far as the students that you're serving in a single week. But yeah, I felt like, yeah, that was the most interesting. It's what really got me captivated. And then also that part of the plan was kind of blurry for me. So that's my feedback.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, next up it's Zeke.
Hi, Zeke. First of all, great job. I mean, it took a lot of courage to get on screen and then try to sell your vision to us. And so I commend you for that. I'm an introvert, so I know how painful that can feel or be. So I think it's a great concept. I wish I would have had this, you know, when I was a staff nurse working in a hospital, first, second, third shift, you know, doing 16 hours. I wish I would have had it last night, leaving the commercial kitchen in the middle of the night. And one of the things that is a positive is that I can tell that you have a passion for food. I mean, to develop this cookbook at the, you know, as a kid and share that, I can tell that you've had a long-standing passion for food, even though you said that you don't have a background in food. But it's evident that you do. One of the things I think that we would have liked to see is getting a better understanding of your business model. So I know that you identified some places in the community where you would set up shop, but would encourage you to really think about what industries specifically that you can target. So then within those industries, you can look at the niche segments within that. So whether it's, you know, the healthcare industry, whether it's the education industry, really think through that. And then also think about your revenue model. So how much is it going to cost you to make things, and how much do you need to sell in order to start generating money? But overall, great job. I'm excited for you.
All right, thank you.
And on your journey. You're welcome.
All right, and then last up it is Macy with Wheels on Rails.
Yes. Hi, Macy. Give you
Hello.
So we love the idea. I mean, so interesting and unique and clearly an interesting opportunity for people. And, you know, the fact that you've done so much homework, you know, you've got the right connections. It's amazing that you were able to work with the Department of Transportation and get them to agree to even do this. So that's very exciting. And I think, you know, it's going to be a great, fun opportunity for people to be able to do this. And I think you can really expand on it with the idea for tour, or, you know, the themes and things like that. I think there were a couple of things that stood out that maybe, you know, if you're pitching again, or even as you know, start the business, it seemed like like you said, the staff was just going to be two people, like you and somebody else. And I think we thought that might be a little bit of an underestimation. And so that might be something that could throw off your numbers a little bit. And then the other thing is marketing, because it is something that's so new. You know, I'm sure social media and things like that will help you, but, you know, to get it up and running, you probably are going to need to put a little bit more in than maybe what you're budgeting for, or what you're, you know, what you had talked about. So, but all in all, I think it's a great idea. And if you could expand it into other places, that's great. And I think, you know, we thought you did a great job. Great presentation.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So this is it. Moment of truth. Again, we'd like to thank our sponsors. If you were at Start Garden, which is open, by the way, one of the things that you get is you get beer. Coffee's free, beer's free. You have to pay for water in the vending machine. But New Holland Brewing provides us with a stocked beer fridge all the time. And so we thank New Holland, thank Finn Valley Winery for hooking us up with the wine. Our sponsors, our annual sponsor is Spectrum Health. It's how we can actually give away $5,000. And then the next 5x5 again is April 27th. So put it on your calendar. We'll be back. And we are going to connect, and this is something, I should just say this, actually. It occurs to me right now. So Lori and our team, like, if you pitch, we want to talk to you. There is no such thing as, you come on the stage and you didn't win and so go away. First of all, we respect immensely the fact that this is not easy to do. There are, dozens of people that are watching this right now. They're saying, what is it like if I have an idea? And they didn't pitch. And they're still kind of, shuffling their feet. So I would say, 1, for all you people, get up and do it. 2, for the 5 that did it tonight, you should totally be proud of what you did. You did more than most people did this week, including me. So we want to talk with you and keep up a relationship with you. And now it's time to talk about who is getting $5,000. And I think that, at the end of the day, there was a pitch that it just rocked. There was no way to work around its rockingness. So yes, thank you, Daryl. Spongy Fitness, Christina Van Dam, yet again.
You're on mute. Unmute so we can hear you screaming.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much.
All right, we're gonna have to create another competition for Christina because this one's getting.
Oh, thank you so much. Woo! My son is super excited too. So, thank you guys. This is just so awesome. I know that the community has really wanted to bring bungee in, and we're going to make it accessible for everyone, and just, it's going to be awesome. So thank you so much. And thank you for just believing in Zeal, and anybody who's watching, thank you too. I know my parents are watching. Love you guys. Thank you for your support.
You guys, we did it. It's amazing to watch you grow. And also, I'm not kidding. I want a harness in which Jorge and I are both in it.
I don't know if they'll make one, but I'll do some research and see.
I don't even want that visuals.
Thank you, Daryl.
Some things you can't unsee, huh, Christina?
Well, if we can't do that, then we should all at least be there.
We did it. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. And thank all the entrepreneurs. Again, it's hard to pitch.
Yeah.
We won.
Absolutely.
It is. It's
All
hard
right.
to do that. It's hard to raise money. It's the life.
We won.
Woo!
We,
I feel like I won.
I know. All right.
My dog is over here just scratching himself, and I wanted to grab him and pull him up and hug him and be like, we won. All right. So April 27th, we're back again.
We'll be here.
Congratulations, Christina.
If somebody has an idea, where do they submit that at, people?
Oh my goodness, great question. As of right now, you go to 5by5night.com, 5x5, the word night.com. Submit the idea. Again, this is what it's like. It's pretty simple and straightforward. You pitch. There's $5,000. There's no strings attached to it. What are you waiting for? It's a pandemic. You got nothing else to do. As if all of us have nothing else to do. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Good night. Good to see you,
Have a good
Kimberly.
night.
Thank you guys. Thank you for having me.
Peace.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kimberly.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ken.